everyone, so welcome to episode 4 of our Ireland road trip. In this week's episode we're going to come across some of Ireland's notoriously changeable weather on our journey as we carry on down the Wild Atlantic Way. Also take a trip into Enniskillen and see some beautiful Atlantic beaches as well. So we've got a bit of a drive ahead of us today. We think we're going to get around the head here, but we just pulled over because the scenery around here is amazing. I know it's getting a bit repetitive now. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful. It is, almost beyond words. It is stunning. We're at Ballymastoka Strand, I think that's how you pronounce it. And yeah, wow, what an outlook. So just a quick stop to take in the view and then moving on further down the Wild Atlantic Way then. So we've just stopped off at the Fanad Head Lighthouse. I don't think we can actually go over to the lighthouse until we need tickets, but anyway. But we're just going to have a little wander around here and visit the shop, I think. And but yeah, beautiful, but a bit chilly now, to be honest. Yeah, so we were just saying it is quite cold today. It's quite bitter, and I suppose that is like the North Atlantic there really, so yeah, the old wind's blowing in off of that. You can see it's quite choppy out there as well, so yeah, but definitely no shorts today. So we were just going to park up in the free car parking area next to the beach, but it's so blustery, to be honest. I don't think we got any benefit of the beach. So we've just driven a few miles on to a place called Gaeltacht, which seems lovely. This is a little picnic area. There's a public park just down the road there as well, and you're just outside the town itself, so we're going to go in for a wander, I think. But yeah, free to park again tonight, and another cracking outlook as well. So what do you think of tonight's stopover then?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, so the town's lovely, just not much there. There's a few shops. It looks like there's a hotel bar at the end of the road and a little wine bar as well, interestingly.
It's so sunny today, but the wind's got up again, and the wind is ice cold. So although it looks really sunny,
it's not. Well, it is, but it's just chilly.
Like, freezing.
It's interesting though, coming further across this way, and we were saying earlier, like, English signs are starting to dry up a little bit really. So obviously we've gone from one extreme to the other in the north now, been in Northern Ireland where everything's just like back in mainland UK, really.
Back in the UK really. Well, it just looks like you're back in the UK up there.
Across here, it's bilingual signs, and in some cases now just Gaelic, so interesting. To be honest though, we're not the sort of Brits who feel like everywhere needs to cater for us, and make sure that our language is catered for when we go places. I think when we were in Scotland as well, when you get to places which are much more rural, they tend to be much more traditional, and that's when you see things like the language being used, and that's fantastic. You don't want these things dying out for the sake of everybody speaking English, do you?
Morning guys! So, slightly different weather today. I don't know if you can see this, but it's snowing. It was very cold yesterday, so it kind of doesn't surprise me, if I'm honest. But yeah, first bit of snow for us this year.
So we think this is going to be our park up for tonight, and yeah, a bit exposed, quite blustery. The weather's really changeable today. It's like been raining, then it's stopped, it's been a bit bright and a bit weird, but mostly driving today, not really an opportunity to get out and wander around and explore. This is the Knockvola, I'm going to say, viewpoint, which means the bloody foreland. And yeah, another really beautiful stopping point. These discovery points are everywhere. You'll have seen quite a few pics, I think, as we've gone through so far. These are the Wild Atlantic Way discovery points, and just give you like a little idea of the place that you've pulled up in, really. So yeah, really useful, but also some lovely quiet stops to park overnight as well. So even though the weather hasn't been up to much the last couple of days and we haven't been able to get out and do much outside the van, driving even in this kind of area is lovely just because the scenery is so spectacular. I was mentioned the other day about there being a much more in the way of Gaelic signs. So anyway, I did a bit of research on that yesterday and today, and we're actually in an area known as the Gaeltacht. Now there are several of these areas dotted around certainly Western Ireland, and some parts a little bit inland as well, and these are basically areas where Gaelic is designated as the first language. So basically it's where Gaelic is either predominantly used or if it's the language of the home. So that's quite reassuring, a bit like parts of North Wales with us really, to know that there's still areas where the language is still being used as a first language. So we had a beautiful, peaceful, but a bit blustery night last night here at Knockvola. Just going to head off now and fed down the coast a little bit, really. Thankfully the sun's come out, which is nice. We've just got some power on the Jackery, and obviously the solar in the van is topping up as well, which is great. But yeah, absolutely beautiful place for a stop overnight. So thankfully the sun is staying out at the moment, which is great news. So we've just stopped off in a place called Carrowmoor, and yeah, another cracking spot. So yeah, we're just going to explore the beach a little bit. Yeah, what a lovely little spot. Steph found it on Park for a Night.
Park for a Night.
Yeah, so
Good old Park for a Night.
yeah, another cracker. There's a little like boating or a little pier down there, which might be for little fishing boats and things. So we're not allowed to park right on the front pit, but there's plenty of parking here for a few vans anyway. So yeah, another seaside night tonight, which is great. I know, it's funny really, considering how, well, it's quite windy now actually, it's quite blustery still, and yeah, it's a bit protected here, but I mean, we're, you know, just around this little bend here is the open Atlantic really, but look how placid the water is. It's lovely. Yeah, so we're still in Donegal at the moment, we're still in the Gaeltacht. Back of my mind I'm thinking I've got less than a month left now to get around the rest of Ireland, but you know, you don't want to rush it either really. So I don't know if all gentlemen are the same, but I do spend a bit of time in the kitchen, enjoy a bit of cooking, as you may have seen already. Got stuff on the go now. Got not a bad view from my kitchen today, to be honest, so I'll just take you out to show you.
Yeah, so this shows you how your priorities change when you're living in a van. 10 to 7, still enough sunshine for the solar panels. Get in. 42 watts in. Hey.
So that's the glorious view we've woken up to this morning, which is great. We've just been taking stock of our situation, and we may have to go to a campsite today. So we've got to a point where we've got a full set of toilet waste and probably half another one now, haven't we? We've got some grey waste we need to dump. We've got loads of rubbish. Now that's been a big problem for us. We might do like a little Irish sort of tips video at some point. But yeah, that's something worth bearing in mind. There's not a lot of place to dump your rubbish at all. Recycling they do, but only certain things, so we can't get rid of...
So only cans and bottles recycling. And the bins, they literally have holes like this. So if you've got anything bigger than that, you know, it's really difficult. So we've now got kind of a bag of big things that...
Yeah. So we've arrived at our stop for today. So we're in the town of Killibeg, which is quite a decent sized commercial fishing port anyway. Quite a lot of pot ships in there. This is the Killibeg Holiday Park. I was going to call it a campsite, but it isn't really. As you can see, it is really for motorhomes, caravans, really. So we've got electric, we've got water. There's somewhere to dump our grey and black waste, which is fantastic. Wasn't cheapest, it was like 30 quid for one night, and that's for 2 undersized humans and 1 very undersized dog, although they might charge me by weight, so probably fair, I think. But it doesn't mean we can get everything sorted, and there is also a garage in Killibeg that does LPG, so we'll do that and our diesel tomorrow, and away to go again then. I feel a joke coming on, like how many steps does it take to plug the electric in? So we've just done all our morning chores really in the campsite. We've just got some rubbish to get rid of now, so it's really been worth stopping here just so we can start with a clean slate now. We've got water topped up, our grey water is just emptying, as you can see there, and we've got a full tank of fresh water on board as well. Everything's charged up for the electrics, which is great. So this place we stayed in last night, it's obviously in a converted quarry, so you know, sort of upcycled quarry, which is a great idea really. So we've nipped back into Northern Ireland for tonight. It is literally, I think, our last night in Northern Ireland actually, but we're in a place called the Round O, and this is in Enniskillen. It was recommended to us by some Irish people we'd actually met while we were travelling, so we thought we'd come in and check it out. It's right next to the town centre, it's free to park, and there's also facilities here as well. I enjoyed wandering through Enniskillen and worked up a bit of a thirst. Problem is there's 2 really cool looking pubs. So what does a man do when there's 2 really cool looking pubs he can't choose between them? That's right, goes to both of them. So first up was Charlie's Bar, and this was fairly typical of a lot of Irish pubs you'll ever go into. Lots of Guinness memorabilia, lots of witticisms, lovely little locals bar. Across the road was the 140-year-old Blake's of the Hollow. This place was absolutely fantastic. As you're fully aware, I've been in many pubs in my life. This might be the coolest one ever. Named by Lonely Planet as one of the top 20 pubs in Ireland, not a bad feat for a country with 7,000 pubs. A lot of original Victorian features in this one, fantastic range of whiskies and a lovely pint of Guinness. As a bonus, also, they have one of these cool Game of Thrones doors carved in certain locations across Northern Ireland to commemorate the show. Fantastic afternoon out. Lovely peaceful night last night here in Enniskillen. It was really interesting to go to Enniskillen. Obviously it's a place which is, like, we haven't touched on this at all while we've been travelling, and you know, everybody knows I've got a thing for history, but of course there's very recent history in places like Enniskillen and Derry relating to the Troubles, and like for us it's not something you see visible sites of everywhere in Ireland, far from it, but if you go to certain areas, obviously whether it's Protestant or Catholic, whether it's Loyalist or Republican, it is there. Perhaps a little bit more visibly. For somewhere like Enniskillen, of course, which is so notoriously linked with it, Actually, it's a lovely little town. It's like a really cool, chilled out place. A lot of like young atmosphere there, I think. There's quite a nice vibe to it. Some lovely little cafes, some lovely little craft shops and things like that. So yeah, had a really good time there yesterday, but back out into nature today now, I think. It's been a bit of a drivey day today. Weather's not been great, although it looks like it's brightening up now, which is great. But we've driven through, well, after being in Donegal for what feels like forever, we obviously went into County Fermanagh, I think it is, yesterday to Enniskillen, back into Northern Ireland that was. And today we've come out to Fermanagh, into Donegal, into Leitrim, which is where we are at the moment, into Sligo, and then back into Leitrim. I found the best off licence in Connaught and Ulster, apparently. I was much more happy about that, and I got some amazing looking Irish craft beer, so I'm well chuffed. So a stop for the night is at Gaeltacht waterfall, and a huge car park, lovely, free parking. There is like a little visitor centre, toilets and stuff like that, but they look like they're shut. The road up from us is closed. We're not entirely sure why, but it doesn't really matter, because we've still got this fantastic view behind us. So the good thing about having a fridge which is like a little bit more reliable than the one we had last time, and obviously plenty of shops, is we can have some nice fresh steak for our tea, which would be lovely. So I'm just about to cook that, and I'm drinking this, which is from Otterbank Brewing and Blending in Muff. Sour beer fermented in French sweet white wine oak casks with Belfast grown plums. So it's very nice too. So you might have think I made a bit of a fuss about the craft beer bar that wouldn't allow dogs, but what you don't realise is no beer gets a seal of approval in this van unless Chili likes it. Oh, I think that's a thumbs up. Or like a tongues up. So a very peaceful night last night. Had a couple of neighbours next to the van. Got a bit windy at times, a bit rainy, but it's holding off at the moment. So but yeah, it was a lovely little spot to stop over.
Woke up this morning, a different camper van next to us, loads of cats just climbing in and out the windows. So that was different.
So we thought that because we were parked next to in their car park, we should come up and have a look at Gaeltacht waterfalls. So that's what we're going up to now. So even though the weather's been a bit rubbish the last few days, the one good thing about that is if you come into a waterfall, you really should be getting plenty of water down it. So yeah, it's looking good. So thankfully, with a slightly brighter day, you can get a better sort of impression of where we were parked up last night now. So this is Carrowmoor. Yep, another beautiful park up really, and it was quite nice. Like I said, we've only been in amongst sort of the town for one night, and I think we'd stayed in a campsite the night before, close to town as well, but it had been a bit busy, a bit of a busier drive, so yeah, it's nice to be back out in nature again. So I've just come out of the van for a little bit of a walk around this place. So this is Carrowmoor, and this is another ancient megalithic cemetery. There's something like 50 sort of prehistoric tombs here in total. Not even kidding, it was just tipping down 5 minutes ago. So the gentleman reception was just explaining that this place is even older than Newgrange, and the history of it is a bit kind of, again, mind-blowing really. So basically there's a guy buried in a chamber tomb here whose DNA is linked to one of the people in Newgrange. So this is tomb 51, also known as Donegal, apparently. And it was excavated in 1997, 1998 for the last time, and they've sort of rebuilt it in the style that they believed that it would have originally looked. Obviously over several thousand years it's changed quite a bit. But the general's telling me something very interesting about this one, and again, whether you find it interesting or not depends entirely on whether, like me, your mind gets blown by these things. But the front in stone that faces outwards and the chamber, it is aligned with where the sun rises and sets on the 31st of October, so Halloween to us, but Samhain to the ancients, and also in that date in February as well, and it marks the beginning and the end of winter. Here comes the rain again. So a bit of a changeable day today, I think. It's a bit of a changeable now actually. The sun's out, it's raining, cloudy at the same time. It hasn't snowed for a few minutes, so that's good. But we parked up right on the Atlantic Ocean again on Dunmoran Beach. So yeah, should be lovely and quiet, I think. Hopefully the weather's not so bad in the morning as well. We might get to explore the beach with Chile a bit.
As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, give us a like and subscribe. Thanks very much.